the KPFA website.
And you are listening to 94.1 KPFA and 89.3 KPFB in Berkeley, 88.1 KFCF in Fresno, 97.5 K248BR in Santa Cruz, and online at kpfa.org. The time is 3:30. Stay tuned next for Cover to Cover with Jovelyn Richards.
Welcome to Cover to Cover, Jovelyn Richards at Jovelyn's Bistro. Happy Wednesday to you, and for all of those that this is my first opportunity to say to you, Happy New Year 2018. May our dreams, our ambitions, our goals, our interconnectedness, our understanding and continuous search for love of humanity continue, and we will do our parts here at KPFA on Cover to Cover, and I will be with you every third Monday on Women's Magazine doing my part, and you show up and we'll have a good time. And our quest 2018, humanity. Today, I am curious about how we communicate, ways in which we teach one another, ways in which we bring information that we may not have otherwise, particularly mainstream media, which is really a part of it. How do we find out information to improve our lives, to make our lives bigger, better, and how do we serve and share that with others? So we're going to talk about blogs today, that intimidating piece of media now, blogs. How do you start a blog? How do you start a TV blog? Why do people do blogs and TV blogs? What's their motivation? And in doing my research for this program, for the guest that I'm going to present to you in a little while, a fantastic woman who's juggling many balls, if you will, in the air, making her life work in a wonderful way. But in the research before I bring on the air, I was looking at blogs and just to understand them better. Because I've heard many people, colleagues and friends say, you know, they've read this in a blog or they'll send a blog site to me or others. And I thought, let me find out. And I ran across one blog. So I'm going to tell you a quick story before I bring on my guest that I found interesting. There's a man who graduated recently from Duke University in IT. And he had his blog, and how he caught your attention in the blog. It began to read, let me invite you into my mind. And I thought, okay, let's go. And here's his story. He graduated, and he began this route of doing the real life. And I was curious, like, how do you do real life? You go get a job, you start on the track of your life. But what he's writing a blog to is people, before they graduate, to say to them, switch that plan a little bit if you can. Find out about what you want in relationship to your life. So he takes us through a journey, students that are graduating, and says he spent 2 years in the wild. And the wild meant dedicating his life to mentoring someone, dedicating his life for 2 years and doing what he wouldn't do or getting in a traditional job wouldn't allow him to do. And out of that, he had a deeper sense of his purpose in life. So what he didn't want to do is 20 years from now, be on this journey in the workforce only, and then start to reflect upon his life. So his blog is dedicated to students graduating or in the process of graduating and becoming grown up. And so I thought, that's why one would write a blog in his particular case. In the story today, my guest, Lachelle Smith. Lachelle Smith is the creator of Black Minority Report TV blogger. So she took it a step further, TV blogger. And let's find out what that means, how she started it, what's she doing with that. So I want to welcome Lachelle Smith. How you doing?
Hello.
Hi, welcome to Jovelyn's Bistro on Cover to Cover KPFA. How are you today?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, welcome. And I'm having you here because I'm curious, and I'm sure our listeners are curious about blogging. And then you took it a step further. I hadn't heard of TV blogging. Tell us about this experience and what the work you're doing in the world with it.
Well, I'm just a woman who decided to start her own media platform to give exposure to Black-owned businesses. In my community, we are a predominantly Black community, but we are the minority when it comes to entrepreneurship and ownership. And I felt as though that there needed to be a platform where business owners that were, African American or African people of color would be able to basically promote and advertise their products and services. We know that advertising costs, in mainstream media, whether it's TV, whether it's radio, whether it's internet. So for those smaller businesses or those mom and pops or even the businesses that are being run out of someone's home or a corner office or spare room, they may not have, the huge dollars to advertise and, during the Super Bowl or in Essence magazine. So I decided to, fill in that gap, not just for the business owners, but then also for Black consumers, because we keep hearing about this $1 trillion spending power that the Black community has. And I feel as though that we need to be very conscientious about where we send those dollars. And I would like to see more of those dollars go to our Black-owned businesses so that we can get minority business owner certification, so that we can expand, so that we can grow, so that we can hire. And I felt as though that was just very, very important, given the social climate that we are in right now, given, who our leaders are and then the positions of power that they have and the way that they use social media and what they have to say about people of color. So I felt as though that it was high time that we came out with another platform that would expose the businesses that, want to grow, that want to thrive, that want to survive, but don't necessarily have the dollars to advertise.
And where is your community?
I live in Pennsylvania, so I'm clearly on the other side of the U.S. right now, freezing to death and trying to get over a flu. But yes, I'm in Pennsylvania. I'm in the capital of Pennsylvania, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. So Harrisburg is not as known as the other more influential cities of Pittsburgh or Philadelphia, but Harrisburg is the capital. And here in this community, we have a very, very active community, social, political, economic, community development. It's a lot going on in my city, so I decided to go ahead and expose those who were trying to make money moves.
And so the content of the TV blogger experience, I know that you have. If someone goes to your website, they can see that there's the woman who started February 13th as Black Love Day. So you featured this on your TV with Interview, the Blogger TV. Before I move further, what is the web address that people can actually connect to see some of the interviews you've done in past and then the current ones that's coming up?
You can visit my website, which is www.minorityreporttvshow.com. So there you will find interviews that I've done, and then you can also read blog posts. So my platform, it has a twofold process. I have interviews that I've done either face-to-face or a video chat type of platform. And those interviews I post on my website as well as my YouTube channel, which is also Minority Report TV show. And then I also, for businesses that I can't reach that are outside of my community, I do offer the opportunity to be featured in a written platform. So I blog as well. So I've written blogs, and I have what we call vlogs, V-L-O-G, which are what you see on YouTube. So I have, the Blogging for Bosses webpage, and there I've articles on different business owners. Either I've featured them in like a Q&A platform. I've given written blog posts about products that I've reviewed or services that I've reviewed as well. So you'll find both at my website.
And so this is a really wonderful way to give back to your community and then to expand your community. As you said, you saw a need, and as most of us can testify, and use a really wonderful example when you said the Super Bowl, mom and pop places can't advertise what they're doing, and the value of what they're doing has this incredible impact. But if you can't advertise or fight up against corporate America, and you are serving that need by bowing into that and saying, let me find a way for that your business, your life, your work can be out there and accessible to people.
Exactly. I emphasize on word of mouth marketing. So, the old saying is, if you've had a bad experience with a business, you'll tell, 10, 20 people. But if you've had a good experience, we normally keep it to ourselves. So my whole mission, my passion is to, share those good experiences that I have. Now, my platform, I'm a very honest blogger. So if I don't have a good experience, I will share that I haven't had a good experience, but I will also reach out to that business owner and say, hey, I would love to patronize your business, your product or service again, but I think you need to, change this or this or this, or, these are the ways in which you can improve. But no, my platform is absolutely honest. I don't necessarily rate products from like a 1 to 5 or 1 to 10. I try different products. I try different services, and I say, hey, these are the attributes or these are the qualities of this product, and this is what my experience with this product has been. If you're in need of something else, then this product may not be for you. That's kind of how I phrase it, because I don't want to tear a product down, because I think it's very important that we realize that without, the buy-in, without consumers, the likelihood of the product getting any better is very slim. We have to make investment in ourselves, but then, we have those savvy business owners who know, for every person who buys my product or buys my service, I reinvest those dollars back into my product or service so that it can be better. There's a stigma, against Black-owned businesses that I absolutely hate. One, I hear a lot of people say, well, I don't have any Black-owned businesses in my community. Okay, well, you might not, but there are so many Black-owned businesses that are online. It's ridiculous. Like right now, having an online store is definitely the way to go. So a lot of businesses can be found there. And then also, the stigma against customer service.
And
people,
and a lot of times, too, assess what I also, Lachelle, what I'm hearing is, too, is that so we're going to step back into the conversation. The two things. One is that I want to revisit, at least to have maybe an aha moment when you say that you have found that people do report the negative experiences, but we keep the good to ourselves. Have you found in your research why that? I want people to have an aha moment so that when we're thinking about it, say, yeah, you know what, that's true, or maybe it's not true, that I do only speak about the challenging things I've experienced, but not the good, so we can break that pattern. So have you discovered anything in your research of why do we keep the good to ourselves, that we can maybe break that pattern and rethink that pattern as we're having this conversation today, as our listeners, KPFA listeners are hearing this story? Why
it's human nature.
Human nature?
It is. It's human nature to just simply complain. I don't think we don't necessarily have a spirit of gratefulness. If we did, then we would be, more conscious of the good things that we have in our life. We tend to focus on the negative a lot. And that goes with our purchases, whether it's car tires or, a dirty fork at a restaurant. We are so quick to get on social media or tell our good girlfriends, that we've had this horrible experience, but we don't give enough praise when we have good experiences. We don't give enough praise when we've had just a good day, let alone, a product or service that we've bought specifically from a Black-owned business, and then we're not as easily willing to share that information. I think that is something that we definitely have to break. It comes from conditioning.
So a part of it, as I'm hearing, is that you say it's human nature. I think that in the work you're doing, and probably others out here are trying to shift that, because it may be consciousness, and maybe we've been suffering under some consciousness that says everything is negative, we can't do the appreciation of life, and then switching that consciousness as we're 18 years into the 21st century, and that's part of the work you're doing. So the other part of it is that, as you shared, and I think it's important to understand that there's a lot of businesses online now, and I think a lot of communities are taking that up. And how would one listening know? So would you just Google in looking for Black-owned businesses online? Is that just as simple as that in a Google search?
It's simple as that. It's a Google search. There are so many different Black-owned business directories. A lot of communities are now coming together, especially from Black or African American chambers of commerce or Black chambers of commerce. Within your local cities, they have directories, or they can provide a directory for you. But yes, a Google search is just Black-owned businesses, and just type in your zip code or a certain product that you're looking for specifically. When I first started blogging about Black-owned businesses, my source was Instagram. I'm going to go on to Instagram, hashtag Black-owned, and so many businesses would just, fill into my timeline of what it is that I wanted to see, and then I would be able to easily go to their website. You can shop directly from Instagram now. That has been my go-to source, like almost every day.
And so in this conversation we're having, again, it's the educating. It's educating
absolutely
the listeners of how, because so many of us move through the day and not understand. And I'm also aware, my KPFA listeners, that most of us are aware that it's just at the fingertips, but there's so many entities and spaces where are not quite as aware of that. So as we're listening today, as the first story I told you, the person that came out of college and is inviting people to come into his mind, and how it works is he realized by mentoring and sharing information is how he was empowering his own life. And that he said it's not just your net worth, but your network. And so how you surround yourself. And that's what you're doing now, Lachelle. I'm talking to Lachelle Smith, and she's of Black Minority Report TV blogger, and she's sharing her story. How does your community of people that you reach out to, the Black community, respond to the work you're doing? How has that impacted their life and consciousness?
The response has been phenomenal. I do a weekly newsletter. I put a newsletter out via email 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And my email subscription list is like a little over 5,000 people right now, which for me, for somebody who's only been blogging for 2 years, for me, that's a milestone. I can't, I'm excited, again, that being in that spirit of gratitude. I know bloggers who have more subscribers. I know bloggers who have less. But for 5,000 people just in my newsletter subscriptions alone who want my content, I'm grateful for that. So I'm constantly giving them that education, giving them that awareness, saying, hey, this business has a current promotion, or hey, this business is, just opening, or hey, there's a grant available for women, minority business owners, things of that nature. So constantly just getting that information out to people, that is basically what my blog is like every day. Just getting information out to people and trying to make it in a way where it's informative, but it's also entertaining as well.
I want to also offer up in the last 10, 11 minutes we have the phone lines. If anyone has a question that I may not be asking you, that they want to know if they're interested in either A, having you review something, B, talk more, ask questions about maybe a community of people who are saying, you know what, this would be perfect, that I can have a platform to share and serve and expose to the larger population about what's happening in my world. And so the phone line, if you want to call us, 510-848-4425. That's 510-848-4425. So, Lachelle, you also have a coupon discounts available on your blog for people to experience new products. Is there anything that you could possibly coupon you can give us today to our listeners who are faithfully wonderful with KPFA and love to be able to participate with some of our guests?
Sure. Absolutely. I have created the Ultimate Black Love Gift Guide, and it comes out on Black Love Day, which is February 13th. And as you stated earlier, yes, I interviewed Dr. Ayo Kendi. She is the founder of the African American Holiday Association and
could you say her Lachelle, say her name again and then slow it down so we can really hear her.
Okay.
What is her name?
Her name is Ayo, Ayo. Handy Kendi. Ayo Handy Kendi. I call her Mama Ayo. And she is the founder of the African American Holiday Association, and she's also the creator of Black Love Day. And if you go to my website again, www.minorityreporttvshow.com, you will see the link to the video of my interview with her.
And we have a call. Woman. We have a call from Oakland that have something to say. A question for yes, absolutely. Okay. Hello, call from Oakland. Who are we speaking? Who's joining Jovelyn's Bistro?
Peace, greetings. This is Ocean Fleming.
Hello. I'm good, absolutely. And what would you like to add to this wonderful conversation?
I wanted to ask Sister Michelle about how a small business, but more so an artist. I'm an artist that has merchandise. How could I get my music to you to review? Because as an artist who is not popular or mainstream as of yet, but I have such a powerful message, it's hard to get bloggers and promoters to assist with that. How might I go about getting you the music, or just in general bloggers? How do I catch their eye?
Okay, no, definitely. What I would suggest, one, is email me directly, info@minorityreporttvshow.com. And I will discuss with you how to, get your music to me. And we can even talk about, playing your music in the background or some of the interviews that I do, things of that nature. And then we can discuss other ways of trying to get your information out to other bloggers as well. Because there's a lot of Black content creators who are always looking for new and innovative things to discuss on their platforms. So there are Black bloggers who are like mommy and me bloggers. There are Black bloggers who do indie music. There are Black bloggers who talk about traveling. There are just so many different genres of blogging, different industries that Black content creators are talking about and sharing their experiences. So definitely email me directly. Again, that's info@minorityreporttvshow.com, and I will get with you and we will discuss how to, move forward.
And by the way, caller, before we say goodbye to you, what kind of music are you doing?
The genre it's hip hop, but it's world. It's really spiritual hip hop is what it is, and so I'm connected to the ancestors, to nature, and so I speak about just that uplifting energy that they bring to me, and so my other little moniker is Warrior Woman. So that message of speaking directly to our people, women, but also anybody that's trying to pull themselves up and really make it and really fulfill their purpose in this world. So that's what I'm about.
Well, thank you for calling. Looks like we have a nice hookup in terms of this here. So I'm glad you called, and thank you. And make sure you do get hold of Lachelle, and she'll take it. You two will work magic from there. So thanks for calling.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Lachelle.
Yes.
What has been the most rewarding for you and the most challenging for you? And so there's three things. the most rewarding, the most challenging, and what has surprised you in this journey of serving this larger need of community, having a connection and being able to not be under the guidelines of capitalism in regards to marketing, but being able to have a voice to mom and pop spaces? What have been those three things, the challenging, rewarding, and something unexpected? Tell us that story.
Challenging. My biggest challenge has been getting the buy-in. I tell this joke to people all the time. Like, do you really know how hard it is to gather a following when you're not a stripper? Or when you're not, you're not, dating a rapper or, anything like that. Like, and I say that jokingly.
But you know what? Let's do truth. Let's take a pause.
Right.
Let's take a pause, because you just said something that is so true. Now people could fill in the blank if they have something other than a stripper. But what you're saying is that unless we are naked out here in this triggering fashion under the consciousness, which is why a lot of these Me Too movements are happening. We live in this very sexualized culture. And unless you're a part of that on some kind of level, the oppressiveness of that, then it's hard to get people to look. And you're in many ways, we're re-educating the conscious system that we're existing in, saying, so that's been a challenge. Unless that's a joke, but it's a good joke, but it's also conscious raising.
It's real. It's true.
Yeah, okay.
It's true. This is what you said. It's very, very true. Yeah. It's very true. We've been saying for years, sex sells. And if you're not selling sex, it's difficult, to really get a buy-in, to get a following when you don't monetize on gossip. And that's one thing that I just don't do on my platform. I don't do gossip and reality TV. And again, it's not to throw shade at any of that. I just feel as though there's enough
That's
of it,
not your
and
journey.
I don't want to dip my toe into it.
That's not your story.
Yeah.
Well, you're listening to Lachelle Smith on KPFA 94.1. And what has been the rewarding aspect of this serving this community and highlighting their work, their products, their voice? What is the highlight of that for you?
The highlight has been, getting those people who say thank you, getting those people who say, I've been able to sell 70 other products because of your review or because of a picture you posted on social media. Those are definitely the wins. When I get, those comments on my YouTube channel say, hey, thank you for, sharing this business. I'm definitely going to go and check them out. I feel as though that I've fulfilled my mission over and over and over again. Every time I get one of those comments or every time I get one of those emails, it is the highlight of my day. Absolutely.
And what has surprised you in this journey?
What has surprised me?
You on a personal level. For you.
It's me. I have surprised myself. I have been able to come out of my shell because I am not like a camera person. I am not that person who's always taking selfies. I'm normally running from the camera, but I have really been able to, challenge myself and push myself beyond my limits. Now I'm doing Facebook Live, videos and things like that. And it has been, these last 2 years have really, really made me think about what kind of contribution I want to make, to my community and the world on a larger scale. I really want to continue to be the voice of economic empowerment in the Black community. And if it's just through consumerism, then that's it. I don't try to be, an intellectual talking head, or I don't try to give, my opinion about different things going. I try to stay in my lane, and I like the place that I'm in. I do.
In ending, I want to say thank you so much. And I hope that you also encourage others to also question themselves, how can I contribute? How can I highlight? How can I embrace? And where can I do it? What's my lane? Thank you so much, Lachelle Smith. You've been a wonderful guest today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
I appreciate it.
All right. You keep doing what you're doing, and we'll keep staying tuned.
Thank you.
All right.
Have a good evening.
You too. Bye-bye.